You know what? Yes. A bit later than I had anticipated, but... I guess the good thing is it gave me enough time to do my laundry, so... Positively that is good. And now we're gonna set up the rest. Quickly get some cleaning done because I am late. And that is not good for my overall time. Mostly because I actually have to be at the shop tomorrow. Why has this week been so hectic, I wonder? I wonder. Well, no reason to get all depressive about it. Can't change that anyway. Now go over here. And as you can see, I've once again been busy reading my quest log. Now, as you can see, we still have pretty much the usual stuff around. All of that nonsense. And we have the Siege of Krakold, and I'm gonna try my hand at that later, because archmages sound like trouble. Lots of trouble. Trouble I want to avoid, if I can help it at all. Then the Burden of Memory, I have not yet found any clue as to how to get this done. Android Temple, yeah, sure. We'll visit the place during our travels. Yeah, that would mean that we have to find where the fucking Happy is. And so, I have no idea yet. This one here, his better half leads to a dragon, and a rather tough fight that I will avoid like the plague, because that is cancer. Very much cancer. The only thing we have actually left is the main quest of the White March. Well, the part 1 or part A of White March. Which is to open, finally, Dragon's Battery and get that steel. I want that steel, I want my monopole, I want to be filthy rich for the years to come. Also, the devil, I will call it the devil, because Devil of Karok sounds like a pain in the ass to say every time. DOC. Yeah, sure, we could call it DOC, but I will have forgotten it the next time anyway. But the devil. She has been surprisingly feisty. As a true classical thief, I like her. I like classical classes, I like simple classes. That doesn't mean that I'm, you know, against multiclassing. Not at all. I make use of that. Just that sometimes that is a lesson I have learned in life quite often, to the point of actually laughing at my own self while sitting in the sun going like, man, things can be so fucking easy sometimes. That was a funny moment. I'm very lucky that nobody was around to actually see that, or, you know, like what modern people do, as in make a video of that and upload it, because that probably did not look very smart. One of those funny little moments where you're just sitting around and just everything is perfect. The coffee is tasty. Actually, in this case, it was a very special coffee with a coffee alcohol blend, basically. And a nice, just the right tobacco for my pipe, and just everything was fucking perfect. One of those moments where it's like, yes, there's reason to stay alive. Just to experience this particular feeling again. Sadly, such moments are rare, but then again, the moment itself is, or what made me laugh at it, is actually the pure and simplicity of it. It just was nothing special. It's not like I, you know, took a vacation, went to a new place and found a beach that shocked me with its sight or something. No, it just was usual sights combined in just the right amount to make me very, very pleased with myself. Who knows? Now, let me play around with the sound a bit, and then let me read that game. Though the wind and the ice have pried long, jagged cracks in the walls, the doors feel as solid and as cold as a glacier. Gilded panels are ranged in columns along the doors. The most depict scenes from daily life, dwarfs chiseling at tunnel walls, horny minecarts are feasting at long tables. One pane at eye level catches your attention. It's a relief showing a crenelated wall, and above it, An indentation in the shape of an anvil. Examine it. Hearing closer, you notice that the anvil-shaped depression is strangely dull and smooth, as if it hasn't been exposed to the elements for long. Judging by the depth of the impression, you suspected its socket for a tile or relief of some kind. Push the door. Even with all your weight behind it, it doesn't budge. Now we know this. Well, we should know this. Hammers of Durgan, and then walls of battery, and then evidence faithful. Okay, so place the anvil in there. The anvil-shaped tile fits perfectly in the impression. You feel a warm thrum in your fingertips as you snap it into place. Then it's Hammers of Durgan, ring loud! May the anvil's deep music resound. Kinda nice, isn't it? As you do, a single ringing sound whistles through the air. Your hand buzzes and vibrates like struck metal. You look back at the relief, the panel on either side of the wall and anvil have come alive. Ogres and warriors all races gather for battle, their shapes and silhouettes formed by flaring, walled heat patterns. The tiny figures move and dance, animated by the flicker and blaze of an unseen fire. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. You already heavy scent of some kind of mechanism loosening behind the plate. Push the created wall relief. Slides easily with the slightest pressure from your fingers. You guide it up and over the anvil relief, where it clicks into place. Beneath it is a deep cavity. It's shaped like a dragon's gaping jaws. Evidence faithful travail by the forge and the fires that brighten the ore. Heat billowing from the mouth prevents you from getting too close. The rim of the cavity, the tiny teeth surrounding it, blackened with soot. You accidentally see some of the vapor. It's odorless, but it leaves you lightheaded. You also noted that the dragon's tongue is a fire striker. It's hinged and attached to a chunk of flint. Press the dragon's tongue. Fire catches the warm vapor with a billowing whoosh. The dragon's eyes are alight, and flames lick at the edges of its mouth. A few seconds later, the panel is sliding away from you. The two enormous doors swing open into a grand hall. Yes! Did it. Honestly, I only knew half of that and the rest was guessworking. I don't even know what happens when you mess it up, but apparently I unlocked it. I did somewhat good there. I'm somewhat proud of myself. Well, since we have nothing else to do and there's some hopefully good stuff in here. This is mine now. This is my battery now. Go fuck yourself. Oh, and we actually found the presence of another piece of Gerard's head.
It feels even colder in here. Something isn't right.
I mean, you're somewhat right, actually. Shouldn't. But your weapon is mottled and tarnished, but each bolt and rivet appears crafted with meticulous detail.
We earned this. Durgan's steel has lined our halls in gold. Your vanity dishonors Abidon and cheapens us all.
Religion.
These weapons are ours. Or have you two forgotten how to hold a sword?
This what it feels like to be a watcher? I think I'd be going crazy too.
Yeah, it's kinda annoying sometimes. A Durgan cogwheel. Red marshes are of bronze coins as currency. These cogwheels were used in Durgan's battery, where they were created in a two-part process. These cog-shaped planchets were cast in bronze. According they were struck in iron dies. The coins are still quite valuable. Basically like old coins, okay. Where do you lead? Nowhere, partly because you're just stairs. Ah, game, you make a lovely point for yourself there. Well, this is loading. No, everything seems to actually be working. Upper section of the side of the tower is crumbled. Setting as it is. Here's something that goes like the. Has somebody already seen that I have opened this and is gonna come here? Actually, is the entrance gonna close itself at some point? I can only assume, but I would believe that the dwarves have a mechanism for that. I'm sure they have. Oh well, at least I hope. Now then, since there are...
Oh, you see that?
Oh. More money. I love myself some money.
I see what you're getting at.
You don't, because I don't have any idea what I'm getting at. Oh, more visions.
Damn you both! My generation built this keep to honor Abidan, not to further your greed and ambition.
We're Pergrunin. Our forefathers explored and conquered, but you've stuck us in this frigid hall.
Paved with gold and marble. I won't allow us to abandon our legacy for your delusions.
No, you'll peddle it away to line your pockets. How much have you made selling our steel, Zoltan?
Again with your lies.
Jesus
You think
Christ.
I don't hear you turning the others against me? These walls echo, and... Enough! I'll send the Forge Guardians on both of you if that's what it takes.
I can already tell that the dwarves were very much happy. Now, since it once again has been a week, I will now have to remember how to play a game, of course.
Of course.
Okay, that was not nearly as challenging as it could have been. Picture glimpse flickers of movement in this tarnished, clouded mirror. I think a lot when the day is long. Yes, current accounting of this month's production. 20 longswords, 15 axes, 12 hammers, 7 maces, 2 flails. 7 full suits of armor, for Forge Guardians. The additional suits of armor. Commandants, remark on production rates. Kind remind him that we received 3 different work orders from them. Vassal, Mastersmith of Dirty Battery. Note in another hand is written at the bottom. What does Alexander need with so many Forge Guardians? Keep an eye on him. They totally trusted each other in
I got this.
very nice fashion.
Just like you asked.
Yes, and I will continue to ask the same thing of you. Woman, open that lock. Please. See, I'm nice. I'm asking for nice please at the end. Esteemed Coin Master Zoltan, I wait you in anger and bafflement. Have I not been a faithful customer to you? Have I not been fair in my dealings? I've done no business together. Your people turned me away like some filthy beggar. I arrived at the battery a fortnight ago. Frost in my beard and not a morsel in my belly. Barely had unhinged the horses when your commander Exandru came to meet me. The priest told me that I would be made welcome, but my profane business would not. In short, I would have to leave at first light, my wagons empty. Certain this would be the negotiating tactic. I told Alexander that I would of course see him compensated along with you. Left in a huff, and when I presented myself at the door, it was Commandant Maroon, your arms warden, who met me. You told me to leave at once, that you wouldn't have my coin-grubbing hands tarnishing Durgan steel. I appreciate forceful bargaining as much as any man of coin, but I was cold, hungry, and put off by her vehemence. I showed her the letter you had sent inviting me to examine your latest stock of Durgan steel. When it marooned her rapier through the letter and sliced it in two. She didn't warn me that her blade, a fine weapon indeed, would be the last I ever laid eyes on if I did not hie back to the mountain at once. Never have endured just humiliation and expense only to return home empty-handed. You understand what has passed between you and your associates. I urge you to take charge. 50 years of commandants will be beyond you. Indeed, did the fall of Durgan's battery, if you do not deal with them swiftly and decisively. And there we see the problems arise, don't we? Oh boy. I mean, you know, giraffes can be greedy little bastards, especially if they're blinded by a huge amount of coins. Would be the first Draven fortress that fell to, well, its very own little greed.
Look over there. No, really.
Yeah, no, really, you do something about that. That's your job. In case you had forgotten, woman. Pull it into combat range. That is a very useful spell. Don't really want to waste that though.
Yes.
Well, on their own, even a greater Ice Blight is not much of a problem. Combine it with multiple of those and a dragon and suddenly things become problematic. Yeah, I'm sure we can afford one.
Just like you asked.
He'll regret this.
Who? Me? I regret nothing.
Okay.
We have found another piece of your helmet. As it has twice before, your vision blurs and fades to black. When it returns, you find yourself on your knees, a shattered sword in your hand and a broken, battered helm in front of you. Your helm. You can feel blood pouring down one side of your face, and you know for certain you will never see out of your left eye again. Arrayed around you in a circle are other warriors, some from your tribe, the rest from an enemy tribe. They watch the combat in silence. You're going to die, old man. Your opponent is brash, but young and strong. Do you think single combat was a good idea? You do. Last winter's famine took a heavy toll on your tribe. Your warriors were in no shape to fend off an all-out attack from its enemies. Single combat was the tribe's only hope. But not if you lose. Once again, the world stops. The memory trails awaiting your guidance. Take it down with you. You force yourself to your feet. Toss away your broken blade, summoning the last reservoirs of your strength. You charge your opponent. He's ready for you. His blade bites deep into your side. A mortal blow. He laughs, but the last laugh is yours. You're older and you're slower, but you're still strong. You seize the young warrior's head and with a roar of triumph, snap his neck and drop his corpse into the mud. You remain standing, sheer willpower keeping you up. Till you're certain that you are the undisputed winner of the combat. Not until the last of the enemy warriors have left your village do you allow yourself to collapse. Last thing you ever remember is the hands of your people reaching out to catch you. Yes. Yes. It's all coming back. My sister, my reign. The end. Oh. I've only just seen it. It's been so little time to know what to make of it. Farewell, Gerard. The wheel has no patience, it seems. I trust man to your care. Farewell, my friend. Was a nice little quest, wasn't it? +3 might and retaliation. Did you actually wear that? You can. +1 dexterity suits you rather well, I'd say. Oops. Give it like do one
I'll get it open.
question thingy? No. No game.
There we go.
Did you just found Dragon style? I'm pretty sure you just found the Dragon style we're here. We're here for. At least a small dosage. Yes, yes, you are indeed very much at your limit.
Lead the way.
Suddenly she detects a trap.
There we go. I'm here.
Now, since we don't know what is actually awaiting us down there, let us make a little quick save. And then, as usual, we'll have the enemy come to us.
Uh-huh.
Like this. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Hey, you know what? Give me another projection. Why not? I think we can afford that at least.
Traitors! Cowards!
Who, me? I'm not a traitor. Nor am I a coward.
Of course.
I mean, quite factually, I'm not. I'm in a fucking cursed ruin. One of dead dwarfs that are very angry. That's, requiring some things. Courage among them.
Out! Out!
Yeah, I really hate to point that out, but, I'm really not in the mood. Kinda would want to do that, but kinda don't want to do it.
How long before the commandants come to blows?
Apparently not that long.
Did you see the look in Maroon's eye? Exandro had better watch his back.
Kinda looks like you came to blows rather violently. I'm gonna point out. I mean, I could be wrong. It's nice to get all the nice equipment you have left behind. Yet you dumb dwarves will definitively not use anymore, because, how would you?
We've got to survive, by any means necessary.
We'll have blood in these halls before long.
And that's it. Just wanted to point out that you will have blood here. As you approach the doorway, a wave of essence ripples through the air. The ancient stones grind and groan around you, and a woman's voice echoes from the hall.
Stop right there. You must be some merchant come to speak with Zoltan.
There's a pause, in which the woman's wrathful essence gathers like a storm cloud on the other side of the door. Entire room creaks from the pressure of her presence.
I'd pick the lock, but I think she'll notice.
Our illustrious coin master may let you plunder our armory, but I've got other ideas for dealing with your lot.
The voice is sharp and loud, like the slamming of a door. The words echo in the chamber. The ghosts startle and flinch, glancing about in agitation.
Turn and go before I show you how an arms warden deals with trespassers.
What's going on here?
Pargroonin quarrels are no business of yours, outsider.
Who are you?
I'm Maroon, proud Pargrin and arms warden of Durgan's battery. And you're answering my questions now.
I'm just looking around.
Leave our halls. Go back to whatever land you hail from.
You have a notion there. You have notions. Your foundations were blessed by Abaddon himself. What harm could I possibly do?
You sound like Exandru. At least you're no friend of Zoltan's, then. You may pass, but don't make me regret.
She's like, I'm gonna let you into our armory now, and I'm sitting here like, you idiot. Guess what a trap all along. I just wanted your money. I mean, quite literally, I'm here to get money. In the most obvious sense imaginable.
Zoltan's the only one with sense. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool.
That cheat sold our steel and kept the coin himself.
That's not nice.
Maroon? She won't rest until our corpses decorate the halls.
Maybe you deserve it then? Just gonna point that out, but on the side of the guy who apparently sells your steel and keeps all the money to himself. For whatever reason you would be on his side, I don't know, because that seems like an idiotic idea. Then, well, maybe getting a bit bloodied is a good recipe to heal your stupidity. Just as a, you know, bit of guesswork. Yeah, that tombstone thing. I know, game. It's nice. One way to look at it. It's annoying as fuck because there's just too many of them. And I get it that you want to get your reporters involved and moralized and stuff. What do you want, Spirit?
We can't hold them off!
No, you can't. You're dead.
Fall back!
What do you mean fall back? You have attacked forward. That's not falling back, you idiot. Heat ripples and rises from great covered hillways below you. Having heavy broke through the railings and gorged a chunk of the bridge.
Right here.
I mean, you can give me a free blessing. A battery siren. What the fuck is that even supposed to be, I wonder? Well, no matter what it is, I will now actively try to murder it.
That's not very helpful.
no, wrong guy. It's like, why do you have no healing spells? And then it's like, ah, yeah, that's why.
Indeed.
I shall.
Right here.
That didn't.
Jesus Christ, woman, you are eating. Yeah, Hunter, you can't target her. That's because she's invincible. Oh wait, you can probably heal yourself. Not very efficient, but you can heal yourself somewhat. Also, apparently not all of the ghosts are against us. Some of them actually on this little ledge here were trying to help me. As usual, I shall take that with a giant grain of salt and be like, helpful ghosts. How long though?
I got this. There we go.
How did the helpful ghosts have decided to disappear? Shots and attempts have been laid at the feet of the statue. There are skeletons lie prostrate before the shrine. I mean, it is a shrine, so I guess that's not really surprising. I mean, you know, if it's your final moments anyway, and you're close to some religious shrine, then...
Don't look back!
Keep running.
I guess going on the let's be sure way is probably not a bad thing. And is that saying about how there are no ACs in the foxhole, and yeah, I believe it. Very much. Gotcha! Yeah, you need to make room here. Because you're just blocking in two of our very important fighters. Do you still have, yeah, you still have bird screaming. Now then, should be going rather well. Now just a few more oozes and we're done. Because she actually got her attack order before she was petrified, she fulfilled her attack order when she was unpetrified, even though the enemy had become friendly at that point. That shows an interesting facet of the system.
I shall.
You could call it a failing of the system. Yes, Soul Mother Schickler leaves again. I'm not going to sell even my prisoners into slavery. I might be somewhat of an unfriendly person from time to time, but I'm not a complete monster most of the time. I will, however, keep that option in my mind. You know, maybe at some point we will actually have to do that. But I would have to give, you know, have a very, very, very good reason for doing that.
They're coming over the barricade!
Well, I apparently did so.
It's a fine touch. Really opens up the hall.
I would kind of point out that they definitively came through. Didn't hold you a little barrier here, eh? I guess at least you tried.
Losing ground!
You don't say.
They're coming! To the mines!
I'll get it open. I got this. I'll get it open. I got this. I got this.
For somebody who got it, you have surprisingly not got it. I hate liars. That's really not endear to me. Hey look, some friendlies.
Fight!
Great. I'm like, hey look, some friendlies. And they're like, we're not friendlies. What are you fucking talking about? You on drugs? My answer, simple enough, no. I was not on drugs. You were on drugs. I will give you one. Just one precisely. Of that. For no other reason than that I can, and that I really, really don't like the way you attack me. Now I will hurt you. Yes, attack the priest. Break his concentration. Make it harder for him to cast his little spells. Yes, very good. Very, very good. You can actually use your abilities once. I mean, basically just because you can. So far, so good. So good, so far. I sure hope those bloody cockwheels are actually worth anything. Otherwise, I might just be mildly disappointed. Many of those bones have been ground into grit. Breastplates and cuirasses are all smashed to bend beyond further use. Stones have shattered like pottery. Not something that happens that easily. The heavy bronze suit appears to have been ripped apart. Its pieces scattered across the floor. Bronze suit appears to have been ripped apart.
Let us in! They're coming!
One more good reason to not open the door, I suppose. As you approach the door, you notice a round depression in the surrounding frame. The molding around the depression is elaborately carved, with a row of foreign symbols lining the topmost edge of the circle. 3 fingers wide deep, with a few small stone fragments. The pieces seem to rotate independently along slots, but they have no obvious effect in and of themselves. I need to find an item for that, don't I? Probably a good idea to make a nice little save game and be...
Blasphemy!
Talking to me. Oh, I'm not an expert, but I smell a trap. The deadly kind. Now if I take that...
What?
Rubors into the stones. The edges are blackened and gritty with soot. The night shroud.
These are Abidon's treasures!
Circular depression. Yeah, man, guys charging ahead against an unseen enemy. The hole will puncture the bottom of circular depression. The edge is C1. Switch dwarf beast to be ready to charge, holding a shield low and a sword high. Two holes puncture the bottom. That's gonna be a trap? Yeah.
You profane Abidon's
Profane nothing! While running away. Okay, maybe I have profaned it and now I'm running away because of it, but still. I will admit to nothing, and I will claim that this is all your fault. You pull back that asshole, will ya? Jesus Christ, suddenly everything is going like derp, 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 derp. I'm now hating on you. Ah, oh well.
That's not very helpful.
Oh, it is not.
That's not very helpful.
A fragment of Alexandru, who's not very happy that I took the treasures of his god, which I, to be fair, can understand. Just, you know, what else am I supposed to do with it? I'm just gonna let it sit there and go away and be like, well, I just saw nothing. Would be a waste. True waste, even. You're one of the tougher fragments, aren't you? You actually give me motivation to knock you down for once. Ooh, he's actually smart enough to lay... well, to get us into the trap. That is somewhat smart of him. Well, pretty sure it was an accident, but, you know. I shall not claim that he has enough intelligence to know what he's doing. Little AI guy.
Indeed.
Okay. We've managed to murder all the little dwarves. And it has only cost us our morality. Well, not really. Technically speaking, they're already dead, so you can't not really apply morality to that, because what use have the dead for their items? Quite literally nothing. Now that kind of makes it sound like I'm endorsing grave robbery, but I wouldn't go that far, but let's just say I'm not a fan of the idea of taking a perfectly magical artifact that could have many, many uses, like a bloody maze, for example, and burying that with your dead. That kind of seems like a waste, especially if it could potentially be a fucking key that I need to get something done. And now, bad excuse, but still, this is fantasy world, and I will have to assume that dungeons are full of stuff that I need to keep, you know, keep on me, and not just that sit around and be like respectful.
Hold them off! Move!
But don't hold me off. So who are you?
Abidon's gears, they're coming.
Who is coming? And now that you people have been busy fighting with your three factions, basically, you have this woman, the warden, going like, I hate the coin master, and the coin master is like, I hate everybody because yeah, because you are against making money off of steel, and we have the priest who's like, fucking hell, this is Abidon's work, do not sell Abidon's work. Basically, they could all be good friends, but no.
We're outnumbered.
Yeah. We're outnumbered. Do you know how often I am outnumbered?
Listen, you hear that?
Hear what? I don't hear anything. Probably better. I don't hear much, but I see much. But hey, at least this time my companions can suffer with me. Now they finally know what it means to be Watcher. Seeing spirits bloody fucking everywhere. I'm sure they will agree, knowing. That's what it usually is. Now I do still wonder, have the dwarves actually managed? I mean, you would assume, even if it is a three-way fight, that one side would, you know, at least at the end be alive and have won. But apparently they murdered themselves to the point where actually nobody was left.
Are we safe here?
Quiet.
Yeah, that is what I would call unreasonable.
This is...
To put it mildly. Because usually once you reach a point where it's like 2 people are left standing, they look around and like, dude, take a look around, everybody's dead, maybe we should stop fighting. Is what would happen. Actually, I think historically speaking, there have been very rarely an occasion where armies have actually fought to the very last man. Usually they break long before that. Which is understandable.
They're going to come for us here, and
I mean, I would break, if the situation would call for it. Like, me and my buddies are standing in a line and we are shooting at the enemy. Okay, so far so good. Okay, there's some losses. That's still okay, that is something we have been trained for. And when you look around and looking like, shit, half of my line is dead, yeah, I would probably be running very fast. Which is pretty damn human. Ashra's remains lie on the floor, covered in dirt and soaked in cobwebs. The scents drift nearby, hanging in the stale air like dust motes. Search the body. The key glints in the dirt next to the corpse's femur. They examine it, the nearby spirits grow restless, growling and fidgeting. Reach out. Takes a little additional effort, but you manage to gather the floating essence to you. You work your way into it and suddenly find yourself immersed in the soul's memory. The shock hits you with an almost physical force. Your heart hammers within your chest. Other Pagroon rush past you, retreating or attacking. It's gotten hard to tell. You're running along a dark tunnel, pushing your overtaxed body as fast as it will go. Your heart pounds harder with each step. And Concussive stumps echo above you. Each one seems to resound in your heaving chest. You pass the mines and reach the main hall. It's packed full of shouting, shoving, panicking dwarves. Even if you could reach the door at the other end without getting trampled or beaten to death first. Something in the fever of the crowd tells you it's already locked. The tunnel behind you rings with screams. You had another dial for the door to the forge below, but it's locked in the workshop, the other side of the barricade. The sound of battle grows closer. You race to the mines, ignoring the building pressure in your chest. You scurry deeper into the mines, losing track of your path. Tunnels seem to close around you. You stumble and fall. You try to pull yourself up. Your arm is dull with pain. As though you have stopped, you can't quite catch your breath. For the first time, you notice a squeezing agony in your chest. Darkness gathers around you. Take the key. That's not good. You have chosen a very profoundly bad place for me to confound. Bad dead people. Run! Come back to me, little one. Yes, you're supposed to help me down here. Okay, you need to run around apparently for some bloody reason. Continuous attack. You have heard of that, yes? There's a nice little concept that allows you to attack longer. Basically until I tell you to stop doing that, huh? How about that? Sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? Well, apparently I've pissed off every bloody ghost in the mines now. Not a problem per se, as long as they don't, you know, get to my mages. That is what I would call a problem. But hell, even though it's, well, to be fair, almost an hour late, I'm just happy that everything is working again. Because as I was half expecting actually, once they sent their, as I would like to call it, quote-unquote technicians, and they start playing around with the internet cable stuff here around here, it usually ends up with the first one completely breaking it for some bloody fucking reason. The second one managing some half-hearted attempts at fixing what the first one broke, and then usually takes the third or the fourth one, and a massive assload of complaining, before things are working somewhat reasonable again. It's what usually happens. So the simple fact that, well, the first one is basically passed, and we only had some minor, mind you, problems with the internet is actually somewhat pleasing. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is a problem. This is the sort of confrontation you really don't want to have. Because if they get around to paralyzing your people, you're a bit fucked. A bit is a nice way of saying it. And us, we shall do better. We shall do better indeed. In a short while, that is. Where was I last saving? I was saving here. Okay. Good thing is there's not much going on. And it also gives me an opportunity to explore the rest up here before I go down, because now I know that I need to go down to get the key. Oh, well, that ends well. Also means I know somewhat how to position myself to avoid what bitter fate awaits me. I hate spirits that can move through my lines. Don't know why. Take an educated guess, but I find that highly annoying. That sort of thing. Oh, you're not attacking because it has become friendly, yes? Yes, of course. Don't we all love it when our enemies turn friendly for a turn or so? Oh, we all knew you would become an enemy again. It was just a matter of time. Really an annoying ability. Yeah, one of many annoying abilities. I will correct myself. This is an annoying ability. No. This should, technically speaking, work. Ah, great. They have turned it friendly again. I mean, on one hand, it's nice and dandy. On the other hand, it makes my fighting quite a bit unpredictable, to put it mildly. Really not the kind of thing you wanna necessarily have happen all that often. Especially because you know damn well that they will turn, let's say, unfriendly after a while anyway.
I shall.
Pain in the ass to deal with. Well, at least I'm finding some nice stuff. Rocks choked the tunnel's mouth as it caved in, or was purposefully collapsed. Ah, well, that's the problem with dwarves, isn't it? They don't just know how to build them fortifications, they also damn well know how to raise those fortifications again if the need should arise. Makes them pretty good siege engineers. Even against their own stuff, sadly enough. It also means that, actually surprising that the fortress was keeping itself sealed off that far, as that is a testament to the fact that most of the fighting was down here, and not just on the first level. That too is not really surprising considering that we're dealing with dwarves. An empty minecart sits at the mouth of the tunnel, waiting to be loaded up with ore. Despite the condition of some of the surrounding tunnels, this cart and the tracks beyond appear to be intact. There's a lever at the base of the tracks. Look inside. It's empty. That's dusty and patchy, with rust and large enough that a group of kith might fit inside. Uncomfortably though. And now for the power that only players do get to enjoy. The power. Saving your game before you do something stupid. Because, let me be very honest with you, if I were to find in an abandoned mine a minecart just sitting there, my first idea would not be, let me jump in. Just saying. You and your allies clamber into the minecart, in a graceless jumble of dribbling and weapons. Yeah, what are we doing about our weapons? That could end horribly, cutting somebody. Pull the lever. With a shriek of grinding metal, the lever slides into place. The cart gives a mighty shudder and starts rolling slowly along the track. The minecart moves downhill and quickly gathers speed. On the next rise, it becomes clear that there's some form of enchantment upon the tracks. The cart loses none of its momentum. And and the wizard is like, well, we are fucked anyway, but I have a teleportation spell. The knight is like, oh fuck. Also, money! After a sharp turn, you find yourself rapidly approaching a foe in tracks. One track leads left and another upward and to the right. Look around quickly. Notice another lever set along the side of the tracks. The minecart hurtles along towards it. Leave it alone. Hurtles away noisily down the tracks. Turning here and there as it follows the tunnel, you pass glittering veins of ore, the occasional piece of abandoned mining equipment. Eventually, the minecart begins to slow. As you approach a lit cavern, you realize that you have come back to where you started. Okay, game. That's one way of making it clear what you want me to do. Grab the lever. Who will grab the lever? Have Adair do it. He's good at this. In a show of agility, Adair manages to hang over the side of the cart and grab the lever as it comes along. That is respectable considering we are pretty damn fast. The lever slams into place, and the impact nearly knocks Adair out of the cart. It's a grinding noise, and then the track shifts ahead of you, just in time. The cart rattles onto the right track. A dizzying series of turns and twists, and probably some people throwing up, the minecart slows, then stops, the entrance of it to a new cavern. I have found treasure. So I hope. I also assume that there could be a trap here. Greens, my little potential trap finder, is gonna go and open that. Hinted minecarts and heaps of trouble. For once, there actually was no trap. It's not another minecart, I'm pretty sure it's the same one, because, you know, can't be sure where it leads, apart from out of this room. It's always nice when the game states the obvious. You pull the lever and hear the now familiar whine of rusty wheels as the minecart starts rolling along the track. With a series of gentle, in this case, twists and turns, the cart approaches a familiar cavern. Yay for coming back to where we started. So far, so good, so well, so truly. Now this was the cave where the horribleness happened last time, if memory serves. Now down here should only be one or two bitter spirits, if memory serves.
Safe here?
Yeah, as safe as can be. Also, while we're doing this again, did I mention that I have now officially had my second day at, won't you believe it, at school. Because I have become a student again at my old age. I find this amusing as fuck. Mostly because this state is a bit of an idiot when it comes to things like this. I think we have found a bit of a nice agreement with the poor teachers who now had to deal with me as a student, and that's kind of ruining most of their days. Well, it did so the first time. I think we have found a nice little agreement on how we handle this from now on, in a very adult fashion, which they found very much appreciative, considering that they usually have to deal with, well, not necessarily teenagers, considering it's for qualification in a specific field, but, well, let's call them young adults. Which sounds very fancy and all, but, you know. I remember being at that age, and I can tell you, out of pure memory, that yes, at this point you are still very much a child. This is nothing to be ashamed of. What is to be ashamed of is the sheer amount of time you will invest in trying to claim that you are not a child any longer, while you are most definitively are.
Right here.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
So much wasted time. Now, this time, two things we will do. A, we will take a rest. Because, well, of course we will. B, I will make a quick save because I already know that something is gonna happen.
I'm here.
Now, we'll do this. Search the body, reach out. We already read this. And now we take the key. And everybody is gonna hate me now. I know. You two, up here. You here. You here.
Yes.
Okay, can you knock it down, please? Yes, you can. That I find right about now very pleasing. If we can get things to a bit of a controlled state where we are not getting attacked. From all sides, and where we can control the flow of the battle, you will very soon come to realize that we will not have much of a problem. I mean, that's the whole idea of formations, isn't it? You have your strong guys in front, and I mean, technically speaking, actually, this is one of the very few parts where games have taken and kept, actually, ideas from real life, very much so. The idea of a formation. Hike and shot area comes to mind when you think about that. Most of the times, but I mean, think about it in an MMO, for example. You have your tank, you have your damage dealers, and you have a healer. Now that is, even though very basic, still just a simple formation. At the end of the day. Which, you know, has proven that it works rather well over time. I do remember that much. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out, though. Because it is deliberately inserted into the game. For good reason, though. Would be a pain otherwise. But that also means that your enemy mobs actually have to work like that. You have to have a system of how your tanks are supposed to gather the attention of said enemy monsters, because, well, if you don't give them that, they're not going to be very good at their job. Just to say. So, a sort of threat system or anything like it is basically something you will need. In one way or another. Where was I? Right. Had a nice little thing called school. I don't know about you, but I haven't been in school in like... yeah, much longer than I'm comfortable admitting that I have aged. Is one way of saying it. Basically, an S-load of time has passed since the last time, and surprisingly little has changed, even if what is essentially part of higher education, because it's technically part of training and not any longer of just basic school, basically. You would assume that that would mean some changes along the way, but let's be honest here. It will take them a few more years and a few more experiences here and there to come into what I would nicely and friendly call an adult state of mind. Let's just hope that most of them will not actually have to go through too much and become completely jaded and fucked. That's sadly something that can happen, and it happens to some. And honestly, it's really not what you want to have happen. Again, it can happen, mostly because, you know, humanity can be full of sunshine and flowers. It can very much also be full of assholes that are doing very unfriendly things and disappointing you, and well, that too is part of growing up, I suppose. But yes, we actually found a nice little compromise, because originally I was supposed to go through the whole training exercise, which the first day has proven is a bit of an idiotic thing, because see it like this, I may not have the actual terminology for most of the concepts that they're trying to teach me, because, well, you know, where should I learn this from? I'm actually having to start in the second year, not in the first year, for some bloody reason. This state has decided that that would be a good idea, but don't ask me why. The state makes many interesting decisions that not necessarily reflect well on reality and what is supposed to be. Alas. You still have healing spells. Use them, players. Our people are somewhat getting unhealthy here. So yeah, it was an interesting first school day. Starting in the second year, basically we've been a class where everybody knows each other since a year. I mean, I'm not shy when it comes to making, you know, first connections. That's something you learn over time, and if you're somewhat lucky, get better at. But most of my jokes fell somewhat flat, sadly, and that's never a good start. And you know, you do the usual, to make some quips about, you know, some quotes from Pulp Fiction or something, and some people will laugh, and then you have something to talk about, and oh well. Usually good start. Doesn't work that well, as I found out, when people actually don't apparently know what that is. Kinda takes the fun out of it. But
Call the Forge Guardians!
For the battery!
now the problem was when then the teachers actually started, you know, wanting to teach, and I am sitting there like, okay, I have read this and now I have all the words I need, and now I will apply all of the stuff I already know, because I've been running a fucking business for fucking forever. And I will give you all the solutions. It's bad, because then nobody else is gonna learn anything, because that's gonna shorten that a long time. That's annoying teachers. Wait a bit if they can't just work things through in a normal way. And I'm not even doing it out of spite or anything. It's just I've gone through so many different teachings because of some of Milson's partners. I actually had to learn some of the stuff to actually sell their produce, and you kind of get used to that you have to learn fast and hard. So, you know, it's basically just applying my normal skills, which in this case doesn't work out. So we sat down and talked about this, and decided that we shall reduce this nonsense to a reasonable level. Somewhat. Yeah, so that I'm not disturbing everybody. And that suits me just fine. Basically, they're getting full credits as if I were there all the time. Well, actually only being there, you know, like a third of the time. So far as I have now only 1 day to worry about, and technically speaking, I do have to do a second day every few weeks for appearance's sake, mostly, but can't really avoid that. Works a lot better, let's just say. Also, since I am now working on a bit of a different aspect, instead of just being, you know, a classical student, I have now taken the... Well, job is a bit much of saying because I'm not getting paid for it, but basically the position of something like an assistant teacher.
Hey.
Where I'm basically allowed to, you know, make lots of the talkie talks with the other students and basically helping. Can tell you, worked out very well. Also, the students took that a lot better than having some old fucking guy sitting there and pretending to be, you know, a student. Also helps because that means that the actual teachers now have time to actually take care of the students who have more problems, because those with easy problems, like they don't know how to do one of the math thingies because, well, they haven't done much of that work in forever. That is something I can help with, because some of this math is actually essential business math that you will be doing a lot of.
Hey.
Oops, that's not what I meant. Yeah, pretty nice arrangement so far, I'd say.
Of course.
Could you please just open the door? And not be an idiot about it. I know you don't like being smart about things, but please, for once. This worked out maybe a bit too well if it comes to trapping them, but honestly, not bad. Okay, I think if I position you just right, maybe I can actually get this. I guess I can tell everybody to attack, but still not gonna work well.
Lead the way.
And it reminds me that I do not have that many people who are actually doing, you know, ranged damage. And those that I do have, do... I got Searing Scene, Shining Beacon. Which is not at all bad spells, mind you, they are kinda deadly. As they're supposed to be. You know what, sure. I'm not often using spells like that. Why not use it for once? You know what, actually just throw a few fireballs in there. It's not like they can fight back now, can they? And fireball is, technically speaking, one of the lower level spells, interesting enough. I mean, even in D&D it was like a third level spell, wasn't it? The classical fireball. And who does not love a nice little fireball? I don't know how you managed to squeeze through, but what I can tell you is that I'm not very happy with that. I'm not supposed to be there. So what I can tell you is that that is an ass load of enemies, technically speaking, that we have to deal with here. want you to stand in its way.
Lead the way.
You know what? Just do it. Nice and deliberately. Nice and deliberately. We made it friendly. Oh, do I actually have to cast that on the spot? Yeah, but I have range. I have range. There's a fireball in there. That quite literally only leaves one giant ice troll standing. And standing he shall not do for very long. Yes. If this week I can settle, well, on a somewhat reasonable course of action for my, well, school endeavors. Funnily enough, I find it somewhat amusing to say that at this age, but, well, gotta have fun with what you are forced to do. And all of that. You might be wondering why even. Well, that is because the state is an idiot. Well, no. In this case, actually, the state itself, as in the little state, because Germany also does have states, and the country as a whole, above that, if you go from a legislative and educative point of view, and I would have to say that the country is an idiot. The state actually was totally okay with me going like, I'm just going to sit in for 1 or 2 sessions when the important stuff comes up, then I'm gonna do my examination and be done with it. And the state was like, also the state I'm living in was like, well, sure, do this. Sounds reasonable. You've been doing this shit for quite a while longer than most of us students anyway, so good on you if you want to get this qualification. Actually, do you have some money to pay for all of that? Like, you know, give me. So I did. And then this country itself, who has to hold the examination, goes like, no, we cannot allow that. You have to do school. You're sitting there like, bitch, please. Why the fuck would you do this to me? The country's like, well, because I love you. Not. Because what's that saying? No matter how much the soldier might love the country will never love him back. True statement. Facts. Very unhappy facts. That no one wants to hear. Especially not poor young soldier boy who has to actually go out there and fight for that country. Of course, around here, well, at least in the past, we did have military service. We had to do. It wasn't much anymore, but not even when it was my time. I think we started with like 2 years of service, and what years kind of was reduced to like 1 year, and when I was doing it, it was like 9 months. And that just is basically like 3 months of basic training, and then it's like it basically just honestly, if I were honest, doing nothing, sitting around and drinking beers, but I remember most of the time, and hiding the beer when, you know, superiors come along, but technically speaking, that means that I have done a service for my country, and now this country is like, fuck you. True, very much so. Doesn't feel very satisfying, if you catch my meaning. I mean, I haven't really asked much from this country in particular over the years. I would very much ask for a bit of, you know, maybe a bit of a tax cut, considering the losses we had. That would be nice, but don't ask. What can you do? Not much is the answer. But let's just assume that after this nonsense is gone and I'm getting used to my yet now and forever changed schedule, starting with next week, things hopefully get back to normal. That kinda hinges on the fact that if the internet is actually going to be working again like normal. Because if I have to bloody throw a fucking coin every evening, going like, will it work, will it not work? I'm getting annoyed. Quite a bit. Placing stone desk inside. First, the disc does not seem to fit. Until it is oriented a specific way. You hear a quiet click of casings as it sinks into place. Nothing appears to happen right away, however. The disc itself, an arrow-shaped protrusion, points north. Push it. Rotate the dial clockwise. I need to now find out how to do this. How am I supposed to do this? Is there... That's the journal of the guy with the dragon half. Gift bearer notebook. Map of Restwood marks an important body of water. Next to it there are several underlined notes. Melody's first, of course, and she'll come up. She's a good girl and likes to hear it before she swims down. Make sure she likes the fish for a job well done. That map. Condenses and pursuing your own research. Yeah, but it is older stuff. None of that seems to have to do much with what we have to do here. Can I actually order like... Oh, I cannot order like without. I don't really feel the need to go through all of this nonsense. Then the question becomes, namely, how am I supposed to get this open? Do I know? I needed to open the way down, locked in the workshop. I found the remains of the old dwarf who left it there. It looks deserted now. I have to keep searching. The door leading down appears to be sealed by some kind of stone socket next to it. Yeah, I kinda see this. Push the disc. Feel a satisfying thunk and notice that the dial has sunk a fraction of an inch into the depression. Okay. Okay, so I just have to do this the old-fashioned way. Aha! I hear a clunk and a rattle of chains. The doorway swings open. It's clear. So basically, I just had to brute force it by trying and then following through which combination will actually work. Okay, game. For a game that usually is like, you just have to find to write a journal pages which will give you information on how to do this. This was a lot more straightforward. The foundry. Maybe a good idea to take a little rest. Also, why does not get damage reduction? Probably because I have not given you a zero image. He is offering a mantle. Retaliation, crush proof, pierce proof. Sounds good. I like to buy stuff. Sounds useful. It's also kind of cool that I can do this from while I'm outside. Paladins. It's the one thing that I really give this game that where I'm like, you did good. Because this game actually portrays paladins as they are. Basically convicted fanatics. They're convinced of the world rule. But that doesn't mean that the world rule
We're in this together.
needs to be good. I really hated when D&D started with that paladins need to be lawful good. And now, because we are aware that paladins are actually not just supposed to be fucking goody two-shoes, we add the blackguards. I'm sitting there like, for fuck's sake. You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble just by, you know, doing this nonsense. The old skeletons have been laid alongside one another. Their legs and ribs are broken. The dented Abaddon statue has been left amongst them. So much horribleness everywhere. Visions.
I'll organize the troops to guard the stairs. We can hold them off for a while.
Yeah. So you believe.
Vazo's repairing the Guardians. Ilune's preparing for the... You can't be serious about this. Let's just wait those monsters out. Abaddon wouldn't let us... Abaddon rewards earnest work, not begging and cowering. We must hurry.
But it's how every god works. They're like, I'm gonna give you my protection if you don the armor, don the sword, and actually do the fucking, you know, slaughter work. Then I will protect you. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Now the new mentioned monster.
Arm yourselves, soldiers!
I got this.
You don't. You claim that you got it, but then you're just sitting there not opening it. Something pulled this construct apart like a child's toy. That is fucking impressive.
We'll give ourselves for the battery.
Okay, so at last the dwarves found unity in something.
The records are here. Keep searching.
Her ruined histories lie open and abandoned. Some are missing pictures.
Curate Loon?
Yeah, safe. Define
No,
safe.
it's necessary.
It was a time of Edrahil the Sure-Footed that we came to Clearban Relac, ancient place of the builders, as the locals call them. It was a marvelous sight that adorned the mountain, framed by a pair of goodish aspects. Through some exercise of trickery or cunning, Edrahil was able to gain access. Just have to record what lay inside. We discovered a foundry of sorts, the likes of which neither we nor a distant person had seen. With careful observation, we surmised that the ancient had used this place to extract souls and prepare them to suits of armor. Delicate and challenging work, yet the scale they had achieved left us humbled and astounded. If a dwarf is like, I find your handiwork really impressive and it humbled me, that must have been fucking well done. Perhaps most remarkable were the golems, living suits of armor powered by essence. We lost two of our fellows when the creatures caught us unawares. Once we subdued them, they proved quite fascinating. Also aware that the host would never again allow us, nor other curious travelers, to visit this place, we took meticulous notes and measurements of all we saw, forsaking bread and sleep until the work was done. We reported all to Edrahil, whereupon he praised our work and urged us quickly forward. Such a place lay abandoned. Who can say what other mysteries gods and Kith have left in this strange and wild land? It sounds like human history. We tend to leave things behind, not thinking about that somebody else might actually later come along and work with our stuff. Or we not thinking about consequences. Like, you know. The fact that dynamite, for example, can of course not just be used as a good way for, you know, mining, it can also be somewhat used as an explosive in warfare. Best intentions and all that. Yeah, he's paralyzed. That is indeed, once again, a conflict that is going in the worst possible way. Yeah, never. Hell, can you do enough damage here? No. Yeah. I always love it when it's like, It's just that one group, isn't it? No, there's fucking another group that's gonna attack you when you're already in combat from another angle. That is where your superior tactics and strategy come in.
I shall.
Stuff I am, you know.
Hey,
Not necessarily the best at. Go down, please don't. Of course you had to pull them, because you're idiots. Now I need to go back a bit further, because if I pull the upper ones or the lower ones, both together, that's a bit much, group-wise. Not the sort of situation you wanna get yourself in. So let's go back a bit further and have there actually do the job again. Go in here like, hello. Then we're gonna pull you all the way back here. You have a rather nasty spell there.
That's not very helpful.
No, the fact that most of our people are getting paralyzed, that is the definition of not very helpful. Are you not attacking? No, of course not. Better. Stay controlled. Everything under control. Very important when you want to do reasonable things. I mean, technically speaking, that should be how a dungeon exploration should work. You should be very much carefully checking room by room, having choke points that you hold and stuff like that. Basically, it would become a military operation at that point, because you would need to activate somewhat of a plan and stuff like that. Games like now, I'm going to call all of them on you for some reason. You know what, just throw a fucking fireball in there, because you can, I know. Oops, wrong one. I don't want you to get into close quarters combat with them. Let's just say I can already foresee how this is gonna end for you. Nice little blessing. Because technically speaking, those defenders and stuff, they are not really my most nasty problem. Somewhat easy to control. I'm still kinda interested in what sort of creature is actually responsible for those dwarves who really hated themselves, no, hated each other, quite literally, to become aligned again. I don't know what sort of monstrosity is it, but I'm pretty damn sure that's still gonna be around, isn't it?
There we go.
And sure as hell, it's probably gonna be my job to take care of it. If all the screaming is down here, maybe exploring up here first is a better option? Safer option? I don't even know what to call that. Also, that thing kinda makes me scared. Could be a trap.
We'll hold them off as long as we can.
Something pulled this construct. This one was a yard thick and solid stone, yet something broke through it. Ooh, 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 like a dragon. Dragon could do that. Oh shit. You can help me by not dying. That would be a very good start.
Can't get out of here.
Of course you had to die just then. Of course you had to.
That's not very helpful.
Yes, I know. You're not very helpful sometimes. Happens. Death ring. Oh shit, that's actually starting from you, is it? Noom, 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 noom. Death ring. Well, not as impressive as it could have been. We were probably not the best situation to try it out. And he got paralyzed while casting spells. Because that is fun and engaging all the time. Now if you could at some point manage to actually deal with that. And I know how much you hate actually dealing with that.
Love.
And after all the non-hits, and I'm casting a spell, the game's like, no, I'm gonna die, just so that your spell misfires.
If you say so. Got it done.
All right then.
The letters on the tables are crisp and deep, as if chiseled recently. They read, our towers of stone are surrounded by gates of coral. We are peregrines still. Write our names in your hearts and your hearts. Cracks snake across the stone tablet. We will stand shoulder to shoulder alongside the oldest of Kith empires sent you far. Honor us as we remember you. We plant ourselves in a strange and wild land, but remember well our roots. For we're distant, know us still as kin. Meditate on those who came before you, and those who go beyond you. Remember first your father, and last your younger brother. But now all are grown are keen. As it this look like a trap, I'm gonna make a save. The gilded globe has been crafted with exquisite detail. Mountains of hammered gold rise over mirrored smooth seas. The rivers that carve the continents are as thin and neat as they've been carved with a razor. Perfect sapphires make locations in Rawatai, Old Vela, and Living Lands. The bronze band that circles the globe is inscribed with 3 repeating lines. Remember all Pabrunen, from the oldest before you to the youngest to follow you. What's I mean? Test it feels some kind of spring-loaded mechanism, but you can't determine anything further. Living land. Okay, living lands. Old Valia. Living lands. River Chai. Old Valia. Living lands. The last surveyor snaps into place. The globe glows with veins of brilliant blue light. Then it rotates a quarter turn. As the lights die out, you hear clanking gears and grinding stone from one side of the room. Please tell me there's stuff in here. There is actually stuff in here. Free stuff for being smart. Well, wasn't that hard to figure out, and you can just brute force the riddle by trying it out. That's a sort of riddle I do kinda can get behind, because that is somewhat easy in the long run.
Abidan, guide us.
He didn't guide you that well though, did he? Because none of you are left alive.
Strengthen us with your flame, Lord Abidan.
A bronze statue of Abidan stands over incense ash.
Crucible ahead.
Yeah, temper, he will. You, very much so. This looks like it could once again be a trap. I do get kinda scared when he decides suddenly that running in front of everybody is a good idea. But alas, it has worked so far. I do wonder how one of you managed to go all the way down there. Get into a fight here, but honestly, as long as it works, and you can hold your position there, I'm actually more than willing to let that go. Nah, you still have enough health.
Let's try.
Banshee cry. Actually, you could potentially not here, here.
Missed.
Mow it.
Yeah.
Nice. I think we can safely say that we murdered quite a few creatures. Treasury, treasury.
I shall.
I take all the nice things for myself. Because that is how it's supposed to be. Where is this going to lead me? Well, to more treasure. And to the White Forge. Okay, that seems like it's where our quest goal is supposed to be. We shall take one more look around and find out.
We'll stand ready, Commandant.
Commandants are not very much happy. Okay, that would be the connecting to here.
Stand your ground!
I can see that you're standing around. The question is, against what are you actually standing around?
Quickly! There's not much time!
Is there not? It's kind of hard to tell, honestly. You're not making this easy on me.
Alone, we've never introduced this much essence into the White Forge.
Well, that sure as hell hope gonna work. The margins of this text are scribbled with notes and references. The ink-stained papers appear to have seen much use in earlier times. Removal and transference of souls is a practice both ancient and sophisticated. There's evidence that the Engwyvens were particularly adept at this, yet few details have survived them. Someone's called Annals of the Pagrunen. It is known as the removal of soul is a difficult process. Yeah, but that's basically what we know. String of notes with lines around and below this paragraph, beginning with criminals, prisoners of war, volunteers. Ending with forge guardians. Sometimes I have seen the benefits of infusing forged work with the essence of animal or wilder. Remains to be seen as whether we might see greater gains from using the souls of Kith. Yeah, everybody ends up there for some bloody reason. Skin prickles as you approach the vat. It seems with soul energy. With life spent and stored thrice over. A sense roils like churning water, running over ancient pipes and gears. There within the vat itself lies a heavy stone disc, rune engraved and pale as bone. Reach for the object. You feel a chill run up your arm the moment your fingers brush the disc's surface. Whispers erupt from the stone around you, and out of that chorus rises a single steady voice.
Stop! These methods belong to us, to the Pargrunen!
What is this?
Years of toil, the pride of a generation. You would steal from us? From the...
Abidan himself. You will regret your trespass.
Finally clicking noise in the heart. Something moans and snarls outside.
Abidan gave us the tools, Vasil.
I got this.
Somebody has
Just
been
like you
pissed
asked.
off. Everybody has been pissed off. Suddenly,
There we go.
traps are everywhere. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Look at that. Okay. That's the definition of not a combat encounter I want to have like this. Can live with a combat encounter against more raids, but not a two-pronged attack. Both sides, you know.
Indeed. I see what you're getting at.
Alone, we've
There
never
we go.
introduced this much essence into the White Forge.
Abidan gave us the tools, Vasil. We've got to make them work.
Or so you claim. Now the main problem is, damned if I do, damned if I don't. I would say.
Fetch our best armors. They must stand up to the heat.
Right away, Master Vasil.
I'll get it open. Just like you asked.
Always great. Are you kidding me?
Everyone else has all the fun. Wizards down. That didn't take long. I'm here.
Jesus Christ. That was a lot of murder. And I found an armory key. I mean, that's all nice and dandy, but I don't actually think there's an armory around here. Shaped from a solid piece of armor. It's covered in intricate stylized etching to give it the appearance of an eye. Now, I can either go in here again and try that and then get murdercated, or we can go up here and see if we can maybe do something here that will make the murdercating process a bit more bearable. We shall try, of course. Also, could these souls of the damned stop screaming for one bloody second? There are people who are trying to think here, you know. Looks like these skeletons were once stacked, but they've fallen apart as their connective tissue has rotted away.
I see what you're getting at. There we go.
Okay, some guardians. That is basically up again.
The Guardians will hold the door as long as need be.
Or so you say.
Everyone else is ready. So few of us remain.
Lord Abidon, guide our hands and steel our hearts. Give us the mercy of your forge.
There's a giant piece of art right here. Looks at your essence. A pulse from the world itself moves through it.
At least it's warm in here.
You're making a good point. Okay, I'm gonna make a save here because I'm gonna assume that this is gonna summon something horrible. A large stone dragon skull stands vigil at the end of the circular chamber. Within its maw is a network of steel dividers, tubes and vents, indicating that this impressive construction served as a furnace for the white forge. There is a shallow basin at the foot of the furnace, and in the eye sockets of the skull itself are golden rings, evidently meant to house some manner of gem or instrument. The forge. The dragon skull gazes down upon you with hollow eyes. Both have gleaming golden rings worked into these sockets. Most of these stand empty. The basin at the base of the furnace. Now note a rectangular gap with something once set within. Place an arrow in there. With a little climbing, you're able to reach the eye socket and carefully wedge the sphere into place. It fits snugly, and you think you sense a small ripple of energy. The eye set within. Relay faint vibrations through the skull. It grows in intensity till the very ground seems to shake. Loose cobblestones rattling in their settling. They leap from the furnace to confront what is coming.
What stirs in the heart of the battery?
I mean, I basically stir. Climb into position. Carefully set the arrow thread into the golden ring, the center of the skull's eye socket. The sphere fits perfectly, and it drops into place. A peculiar burst of energy ripples outward from the dragon's eye and through you. Yeah, shifts almost perceptibly around you. The arrow sphere you have placed suddenly blazes with an orange light, fading from a blinding brightness to the vibrant glow of a campfire. A faint smoke rises from both arms. In the depths of the furnace, I think you hear the rattling of machinery.
Heat. Tremors. They return.
Let's go down to the furnace. Examine the forge. I know I've done this, but I feel like I'm missing something. That kinda means that I will most definitively likely will actually have to do this now. Because that means I will need whatever's in there. That means I will need to make this smart again. And also, although they have been, I mean, it's kinda reminding me of Drogon's Tower. But Drogon's Tower at least had the decency to make it very clear what has actually happened at the end. Alright, we kinda had this quest going on. When you face over Eastern Reach mercenaries, Elena became a passenger on an Amoa longship. Swift and full of weapon-bearing sailors, the ship came into regular conflict with pirates during the pursuit of Chama's kidnappers. Eventually, Palina and the crew spotted the Valian caravel holding Chama and were able to overtake it before it reached open water. Ripples and a fair share of acrobatics, the mercenaries and Amoa soldiers boarded the caravan with Regina in tow. The battle on the ship's deck was so thick with pistol fire that the smoke made it difficult to tell friend from foe. In a confusing melee, Palina came face to face with the pirate captain. After a scuffle, the longship collided with the caravel and sent it lurching. The captain slid down the length of the deck and was knocked overboard by a poorly secured cannon. Their leader sinking beneath the waves, the remaining pirates quickly surrendered, dove into the water in an attempt to escape to a nearby island. On Thomas' return, his friends and family held a huge feast to honor him. Regina and everyone else that helped save him. Nice, and we got Lavender Ref. Out of that. First things first, we need to campfire. We need to make a nice little save. Reach for it.
Stop! These methods belong to us, to the Pargrunin.
What happened here?
I'll be done here.
Now then, as we have seen, technically speaking, the simple method of slow point works.
Hey.
What that means is,
Tell me.
well, we need a little sacrifice.
Look over there. No, really.
Who is not going to be very happy. About being the little sacrifice. To go out there.
And I'm stuck.
No, I'm pretty sure she's going to go down. I don't think that is something she will be able to avoid. Yeah, precisely what I was expecting. So, we could say fair is fair.
Can't get out of here.
Yes?
Please murder the Spectre first, then murder the battery siren. I know, technically speaking, the battery siren is more dangerous, but practically speaking, it also takes a lot longer to get that bitch down. As such, I would much rather have it, you know, but you're not.
Yes?
Now, I kind of feel like we still will not just get things done.
I shall.
Have you taken whatever was in there? You have. Yeah, that should be the last part I can get. So if that part does not allow me to now reactivate this nonsense, then I don't know. quite literally.
Oh, you see that?
Onward!
Well, shit.
Onward!
I don't have a choice, is what you're saying, game. Basically, it's like you can't trigger the trap, or you can't trigger the trap. Annoying. Just a bit, but alas, it could be worse. Now then, am I to assume that everything has now turned horrible because we have disturbed them? Does that mean there's gonna be more ghosties about? Also, could the screaming please stop, because that's kinda getting annoying. Having to hear all the bloody time. You know, I'm just saying. Also, I'm kinda running out of time. That's a problem when you start later. And again, starting when you can't even be sure that the internet is going to continue working is a bit annoying. No, I will admit it has worked surprisingly well, and we are getting kind of close to getting that forge going again, which would mean that the goal has been reached. We have now access to steel again. Durgan steel, to be precise. Precisely what we wanted our little grubby hands on. And now then, I'm still going to assume that I'm going to have to face some horribly angry ghosts when I'm dealing with this. The only question really is, where are they gonna come from? Place the stone disc in the hollow space behind the basin. To the bar then. I find that it fits perfectly within the hollow. Before you rise, the disc turns of its own accord, rotating this way and that before finally sinking into position. Deep within the furnace comes a startling metallic screech, as if some hidden mechanism has come to life. From the vents around you rises hot, stale air and the glow of rising fires. A gust of hot air erupts from the stone dragon's maw. Molten ore drips from the basin. Dark, billowing smoke begins to gush from between the skull's fangs. Hear another rending shriek. Sound of machinery. Around you rises a chorus of howls, bodiless voices raised in rage and despair.
Remember yourselves, Pargrunen! Defend the battery!
And that is precisely what I was fearing would happen. This once again calls for a bit of a tactic, I would say. Because in this case I'm going to assume that things are not just going to go well.
Try that.
You can knock him down. I would find that rather pleasing. You really don't have the necessary health to tank. Admittedly. You also were not meant to tank. Admittedly. Give me another projection. Well, so far so good. Getting somewhere. Although I'm not saying anywhere good.
How may I help?
Indeed.
Well, I was kind of thinking for a second that we might need to plan this out a bit more.
Yes.
Mostly this has worked surprisingly a high amount more than I was anticipating. I mean, now it's awake, so what exactly? Ah, okay, so this is what we need to do then.
Of course.
Stop, Marauder! Our bodies are dust already. Must you profane holy ground with further violence?
Why? Okay. Okay, little dwarf. Let me start at the beginning. I came here. I had no intention of any harm. You were the ones who decided that, fuck you, I'm gonna attack you now. I have no right to speak like that, you know? As they rise, the glow washes the room in a glory, a crimson light.
Did the height of our walls offend you? Did we cross your borders? Sail you weak steel? Tell us, why did you invade our fortress?
You're the voice of a tired old man. Let's start with the lore. Jürgen's battery has been deserted for over 200 years.
No, that cannot be. Abidon wouldn't allow it.
No, he has.
Wake up, Exandru! This is why Abidan gave us the White Forge, that we might take up arms and deal with villains like this.
Such a magnificent device, and she can only see it as a tool for war. She shames our grandparents, who wandered this continent and...
Quiet, both of you! Can't you feel it? This chill. This silence. But you entered our keep and found it abandoned. Ruined. What happened to us?
Well, stories say that you fought amongst yourselves and destroyed one another.
We fought, yes. But only with words. Ideas. Yet it was enough. Our divisions left us unprepared for what came next.
I'd never seen anything like them. Twice the size of any ogre, and positively fearless. They were...
eyeless. Yet no matter how hard we fought, or how deep we hid, they kept coming for us.
What were they?
Some kind of magfolk. But bigger than any we knew of. We who survived never got close.
They were relentless. Unnaturally so.
Why did they attack you then? Well, they didn't stop to explain themselves. Yet I wondered at what monstrous wilder might survive in a place like this.
We should have taken our steel and pushed east.
What's to say they didn't come from the east? From the lands Maroon so coveted?
It was a punishment for taking this gift of Abidon, the White Forge. and squandering it on our greed and
Well,
vanity.
that would be a problem, because I was actually just about to squander it on my greed and vanity. Oops.
We retreated until there was no place left to go. Until those of us who remained were here.
Here, with the salvation Abidan had left us.
And what was the salvation?
The White Forge.
Ooh.
With it, our smiths pulled the souls from our bodies and preserved them in the very stones of Durgan's battery.
That seems like a horrible idea.
It was agony. Feeling your soul ripped from your flesh. Feeling every part of you torn asunder.
Yes, that is why I'm asking, why the fuck doing that?
But it saved us.
No, the fortress has been abandoned for over 200 years at this point. How the fuck is that saving, you idiots?
Imprisoned us.
More likely.
It was Abidan's grace. Now, we inhabit the monument our people built to the White Forge.
So what does this have to do with Abidan?
The White Forge belongs to Abidan, of course. It is here that he built his own body.
Interesting.
And whether he found this place or created it, it's a truly remarkable smithy.
We Pogrunin are wanderers by nature. But it was Abidan's call that led our forefathers here after generations spent along the Pearl Coast and Air Glonfath.
So the old stories say. Then again, I can't see any other reason our grandfathers would have stayed here when greener lands lay east.
So how does the White Forge work?
Its fires have been blessed by Abidan. They're fed by Aora's molten heartbeat and veined with Audra that runs to the center of the world.
Interesting, interesting.
Which explains their conductive power. See, these Audra veins allowed us to siphon essence into steel as we shaped it.
And that essence, the extraordinary heat of the forge, and our smith's skill is what made Durgan's steel so remarkable.
I see, I know you're here, in Durgan's battery.
Stuck here, you mean? With all the others who sought to escape the Eyeless.
Well, is that the bad thing?
Had we thought longer on the fate that awaited us, we might have chosen a quick death to this slow agony.
Good point.
Blasphemy! There's no greater honor than remaining here, watching over the White Forge.
Yeah, if you think so.
I only wish we could protect this humble monument better.
Or do something. Anything. We were once among the greatest smiths in the known world. Tell me, do Kith still speak of us?
Well, yes, somewhat.
That is good to know. It's only a shame that this legacy is nothing but a memory.
How about you start working for me?
Is this why you braved the restless souls of Durgan's battery? To recover the process of Durgan's steel?
Well, I kinda wanted to learn how Durgan's steel was made. Next, they form an indistinguishable host. You perceived him as a school of fish caught in a tide, a flurry of snowflakes on the wind, a pantry full of fragrant spices.
Then I hope you're satisfied with what you found here.
Humor.
At least you get to leave this place.
But it was good to be remembered. However briefly.
Speak to their collective essence takes shape. Much like Merwalds did, there are scores of them, all torn by conflicting purposes and trapped in the memory of their lost battle. You taste the bitterness of their uncertain existence and feel the persistent ache of centuries. It is a slow, agonizing fate, but you find it in your power to grant them another. I kinda want to bind them to the cannon so that they can actually defend what they think is most important. Honestly, considering how much trouble they gave me. And yeah, if this is technically speaking probably one of the places of God, so yeah. I guess that would at least give them a new view for a few centuries, and that's still gonna suck for them. Well. Souls flopping through the bricks, moving away from the White Forge, as if from burning, beating heart. The walls groan and creak at a sudden rush of energy. At last you feel them distantly, as they clot somewhere above you, on the exterior of the keep. They thrum with energy and purpose. White Forge is now available for use. You will find Durgan and iron ingots. Multiple iron ingots are required to create a single refined ingot. The refinement of ingots can be used at any time in enchanting recipes to open weapons, shields, armor with Durgan steel. Refined iron ingot. Refined iron. I have it now, and enchant, White Forge, Durgan refined steel. Okay, so that is actually one extra. So if I find a weapon that I really want to use, and I think I will continue to use, I can enhance it with what little Durgan steel I have and go like, you get even better now.
I shall.
It also means that we probably will have to come back here at some point. Probably. Probably. And we got ourselves some nice guardians that will keep the fortress safe in our absence. Which actually serves my purpose in this case too, because I want to keep my monopole on the Durgan steel. That's gonna be my steel now.
By the time you stepped out of Durgan's battery and into the new snow outside, word had already spread of strange lights rising from the fortress and energy crackling in the sky. The survivors of Starward flocked to Durgan's battery, their steps hastened by the promise of peace and prosperity at last. They mended their walls, gathered their strength, and prepared their town for the new opportunities that were sure to come. And with the voices of Durgan's battery silent at last, none heard the distant groan of something stirring among the peaks, as massive and relentless as an avalanche.
You've completed Pillars of Eternity, The White March, Part 1. In the next chapter of the story rests an location outside of the White March. The crumbling edge of these long platforms suggests that there were once stairs leading down from here, perhaps joining with the pathway some distance below. It seems a manageable jump from here on the east side, but you doubt you would be able to return. Jump. Oh, let me check out my new fortress. Well, my old fortress, but with new defenses, I hope. Let me see those cannons actually working, just to make sure that... for fuck's sake. Cannons! Where are my cannons? Ah, what a pain in the ass, isn't it? Like, I'm gonna pause now. And now I could deactivate it, but it is kind of nice reminder that, yeah, this is not the most efficient way of doing it.
Indeed.
Really don't know why the game has decided to respawn people there. People. People are saying a lot. Those were creatures. My cannons look kinda dead still. That's not good. Come on, little dwarven ghost. You're supposed to be protective. Maybe at least in that cannon. Eh. Let's just hope that they're actually doing their job and not just slacking on their first day in their new duties. Is there anything else we can... I think we can go back to Stalwart for one final rest, and then we're going to end with the White March for now. Go back to actually do some main story stuff in the world again, and then come back later to finish off the Siege of Crackhold and the second part of the White March expansion. A bit later though. I do kinda like to do things a bit in small, nice doses, basically. Makes it a lot more enjoyable, if you ask me. White marches are kinda cool because it's quite a bit of different, but I have now seen for like 3 episodes nothing but snow, and I'd like to see some greenery, you know, as in actual greenery. Having lots of green. Why can't I not leave the area? Oh, because I need to be here. Okay, okay. That is a very obvious thing. I actually do wonder what will the people of Stalwart actually say. Is it gonna be like, hey, just wanted to point out, nice job there. So what you gonna do with your new fortress? I'd be like, I could use some workers. Not at all slaves. Wink wink. Wink wink wink.
Way you're always clutching at that staff makes me think Mogren burned off the other one. That what happened?
We are not all so afraid of the fire. Some of us see the beauty of its work.
Yeah, something like that. Ah, no new bounties. You have anything to say about the white?
Really did it. I mean, people have always come through here, talking about opening the battery, claiming the White Forge, all that. But I didn't think anyone would ever really manage it.
Well, and then came me.
I told Renegild I'd be willing to help with getting the mines back in order. You know, do my part. Figure we can turn this place around, now that you've laid the foundation.
We shall see, or we not, if that is any possibility. For the moment at least, I'm very happy with what we have done. We have done a good job. The north is somewhat peaceful for the moment. What actually is part of the... I do remember that whole Durgan Steel nonsense, but what actually is part of the second one?
Thanks again. I'll be gone just as soon as the weather clears.
Well, let's try again. Yay! Made some money. Now I'm feeling better.
Heard the big news. There really isn't anything you can't do, is there? This will do so much for Stalwart.
I know, I'm just fucking awesome. It's just surprising. You really found a White Forge, huh? Hardly believed it at first, but when you see Rengil so giddy about anything.
Here, drinks on me. We should see a boost in business with the battery open. Makes for a brighter future than we had yesterday, for sure.
Yeah, praise me more. I know I'm good at what I'm doing. I think the only thing we have not yet found for is much in the way of clues for that hidden monastery thingy. But I'm sure we're gonna find some clues somewhere.
Something you need, ma'am? Ha! Very good. Next time, tilt your head a little lower. Then you can get a look at her purse. We're just practicing, of course. Don't mind us.
Of course, just practicing, eh? Who else would probably be very much happy about the nonsense that is happening? I mean, there's Ren Guild, but that's basically the last one I'm gonna talk to. Yeah, because she's obviously gonna be like, well, hero. I'm gonna be like, yes, hero very much. But she's practicing.
Welcome.
I have nothing new to say. You ungrateful son of a... So saddening. I can hear celebration everywhere, and then there's just some people who are like, nope. Yes, I open it. I opened it. I'm just good at what I'm doing. Generally speaking. Not much new up here. Guess we can look down here, and we have this, we have this. The old lady's house. That is all. Wait, literally all that we have.
This is going to be fantastic. Just wait till they hear about this back home.
Whatever you say, little one. Whatever you say. Really kind of hope that this nonsense would somehow give you a way out, but alas, it does not tell me where the fucking hidden monastery is. Some bloody reason. And I guess if worst comes to worst, I can always look it up and be like, huh? Do I want to? Yeah, that was a question. I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of trying to avoid it. You really saw the white forge? Yes, I did. Blazers. You brought that killer to Stalwart. Are you mad? Not more than usually, but generally speaking, yeah, somewhat. And look at me being up here in the ice cold north for some legend. Oh boy.
So, if our watcher hadn't come along, you would have let those drunks carve you a new nose.
I was softening them up.
When trouble boils over, it's boots or blade, Aloth.
I was sure you'd consider booze an acceptable option.
Yeah, everybody's like, I saw a light up there. And I'm like, well, you don't say. As usual, it takes a whole watcher to get this job done. Somebody has to do it.
Got to speak up? My hair.
And not only your hearing is gone, your ability to process information too, because have you heard about that White Forge thing? With engagement makes it difficult for characters to move away. You don't say, game. Come on, load.
Seems I was wrong about you. Most of these adventurers come for gold and glory and leave us with a new heap of trouble. You've been different.
I have.
Been 200 years since folks set foot in Durgan's Battery. Now you've cracked the place wide open, and with quite the display.
Yes, yes.
Thanks to your help, we just might pull through.
Mm-hmm. So what's happened now for Salwat? I'd up to us to use this opportunity to pull ourselves back together. We're not pleased about having Belragan's clan stone's throw from our gates, but I'll have to hope that you deal with her holes. Just have to hope Lena pushes along a few more years. She once knew a lot about mining, but she's starting to go. To be honest, I didn't really think anyone could open the battery. Just gave folks something to hope for. We're starting to hope. White Forge could turn things around for us. We're able to make use of it before some woody noble stakes a claim out here. I'm glad I could help.
What's on your mind?
Well, we even found a special helmet and stuff. I think we can quite safely say that we have done most of the work that the White Barges can offer to us right now.
Uh-huh.
Where is your stuff? No, you actually have 5. Strange. Oh no, she doesn't get any sleep bonuses because, well, she doesn't sleep, technically speaking. That's a lot more of a problem, isn't it? Like, why can't I give her a bonus? Yeah, of course I can't. Okay, game, for once you actually have a sensible point. Now this we shall do later, because I don't want to fight that dragon. And Burden of Memory, yeah, that's the one I was looking for and I have not yet found. Yet sounds like trouble. Breakhold. But all of that shall not be a problem for a while, because we shall actually go back and do the Hermit of Hardred House. Means for the first time in a very long while we can actually travel back to Katnua. To where we belong. Haven't seen my little fortress in a while. Wait a while.
Last thing the Deerwood needs is another foreign colony.
As you sleep, you're buoyed and buffeted by the vagaries of dreams. They tumble and trash about you and fill your mind's eye with pale, glittering motes. They resolve into a light snowfall and a biting northerly wind. You recognize the mountains of the White Marsh rising around you, and you shiver. You see Stalwart a few miles away, quiet and still, but for a few curling streams of smoke rising from the chimneys. Durgan's Battery is perched above it, its shadow stretching into the valley. Above it all, you hear a deep, slow rhythm. First, it sounds like a distant drumming. Then it grows louder, cracking through the dry air and booming from the mountain peaks. It builds until you feel it reverberating beneath your feet. Go to Durgan's Battery. Head towards the fortress, but soon a shaking ground halts your progress. Each thud comes louder and faster than the next. Thunder echoes from the mountain tops as great sheets of ice and snow tumble down the slopes. The rhythm keeps building, shattering frozen lakes like crystal saucers. New ravines split through the mountains as old chasms fill with snow and scree. A rock slide buries Stalwart, and Durgan's Battery is shaken into rubble. Shadows rise over the mountains, the vanguard of a massive army. You flee, you tumble from the foothills, bound across the Direwood, feeling the rumble of the advancing army all the while. Barricade yourself in Cat Nua. Cat Nua rises from the forest, mended walls reaching out to you like a pair of strong arms. You barricade yourself within the great hall as the pounding grows closer still. It rattles the foundations of the great keep. Just as the masonry begins stacking loose, you hear an unholy battle cry coming from the courtyard. The ceiling collapses. It's a cascade of bricks and beams onto your head. Struggle to wakefulness, peeking at the bedding knotted around your legs. As you shake free of the last bounds of sleep, you hear a voice whisper something in a language you have never heard. You see the image of 100 shifting, staring eyes. You awaken, feverishly warm, covered in sweat. Sounds horrible, doesn't it? Also sounds like I should be very much better equipped to deal with that. Whole army is a bit much. I can deal with many things, but not that. Immediately. Also, that's the second part, and we're gonna save ourselves that much. For now, at least. We also have some quests stuff left, and still some small little tasks and side quests and stuff to do. So next time we shall travel a bit more in the Deerwood and see what that will offer to us. Now, however, I shall save my game. Then we shall have to bid you adieu. For the moment, that is. Have a good one and all that, and I shall be back. I actually should not have stayed up this late because I have a full day at work tomorrow, sadly enough. So that is not looking good for our earlier playtime, but I should be around in the evening to do the usual near stream. We shall enjoy that for while it's lasting, because it's not gonna last much longer. Actually moving rather fastly towards the end of that, as in having seen all the endings.
I shall.
2 are left. That's not much. Not by near playtime standards, that is. Alas, I'm already working on the next one. It's gonna stay weeby as fuck. Because why not? One has to enjoy the small things in life after all. And that is something I can enjoy. Especially this little series. It is kinda cute. Although that will be a lot of reading, and that's gonna murder my poor little tongue probably, most definitively. Alas, that be so then. But yes, before I start rambling longer, because usually I would like to do that, but today is a very bad timing for that. I will have to cut short. Bye bye once again, and